practiced many years, very good. After that, he abandoned Dharma and follow other path. So they feel very upset, and then they feel also worried. What is the main points of Dharma that we can understand that make us continue to practice Dharma without giving up or without abandoning the Dharma? Is there any points that Rinpoche can advise them so that they can uphold or perceive the Dharma in a very consistent way without giving up the Dharma?
So he or she already abandoned.
But they also think for themselves, how or what if one day I abandon Dharma? So what to do, not to abandon Dharma in future for themselves. They are worried about it.
So it's sometimes it's depend individuals what kind of he or she doesn't lack. That's why he abandoned. So this, as I mentioned before, many ways. If those who don't like to chanting every day or like a prayer or something like that, then we can talk another ways. There's no need to necessary to do these things, and another easy ways we can give in that. But sometimes it's very important to know the reason why he or she abandoned. So after we know the reasons, then easy to lead another directions. So Buddha Shakyamuni is taught many different ways individually. So if you really don't like chanting every day, doesn't matter. Also, take some another instructions of the Buddha's Dharma. So there is say, if these talk about something reasonable, it's logically, they scientifically, there are many philosophy can talk to them in order to return their mind from the out of Dharma. So if really he or she good enough qualified understanding of knowledge, then we can talk the reason about the Dharma. Dharma is not just Buddha's teaching; is not just like follow the blind affair. There is lots of reasons, thousands of logic and reasons. So it's a dependent individuals. So some people, too much push them to practice Dharma, or sometimes you do every day to go temple or to see something like this reason they don't like all these circumstances they have. So it's a dependent individuals why they live the Dharma.
这个问题，刚听到这个问题吗？就说有一个佛友呢，学了佛法很多年，突然间退失道心，不要佛法了。他就问你说，就可以给一些告诫，说有几个佛法的要点，让我们也不要对佛法升起这个退心，一直可以在佛法道路上一直精进不懈的可以努力下去。然后就说有些人退失道心有很多的原因，因为看他个人的不一样的因缘跟性格嘛。有些人可能不喜欢，比如说他不喜欢做唱诵念诵东西，那你就把佛法其他的方便跟技巧带给他。有因为佛法有84种法门嘛，释迦牟尼佛说很多种各种多元化的选择都可以有。那有些人喜欢科学的、哲学的、逻辑的、理性的、思维的，那就介绍一些佛法的比较深道理给他们知道，给他们去思维、去思考也可以的。所以要看个人而定。那同时，另外一个人就是说，我们不要给他们太多的压力，就是不要叫他你要去庙堂吗？你要去烧香吗？你要去打坐吗？你要去上课吗？不要给太多的压力不要推销太用力了然后这样的话，就是慢慢的把他们带进来。你要知道他要离开的原因是什么。然后他如果聪明的话，他有一天他也会回来的。你要先知道为什么要离开，为什么要放弃。
So one of my friend, he don't like he always says I don't like Dharma practice. But when I talk, I said yes. He always saying that prostration or circumambulate, all these kind of things are just like superstitious, and there is no any exist God. Then I says yes, you're right. There is no any exist God, because the Buddha is not a creator, or he is just as a teacher, ordinary persons who make effort, then he achieve enlightenment. So he just to talk about the reason description of reality, the how to perceive and concept all the reality things. So even those scientists, they like Einstein, some great scientists in their profession in the predict that the futures the Buddha's Dharma philosophies can follow the scientists, and even the scientists need to more advice from this philosophy. That's why this not basic on the like blind faith. So these kind of things sometimes people can lead into practice. And not in the Western countries, there are many people like to practice in meditations. The first, their main purpose to free from their anxiety, depression. There are lots of things happen in the Western, especially I come from in Australia. There are lots of thousands, young or old or no matter, they have always a problem with anxiety, depressions. So they don't like a religious name. When I said sometimes Buddha or Dharma, they don't like, but they like the view of the Dharma's teachings. So they, when I talk about mindfulness or meditations, they like to practice. Then meanwhile, these are the reality, something we talk about reality, the Buddha's main 4 pillars of Dharma's teaching. This is the way says there is a suffering, but Buddha never says there is a suffering. Suffering is inseparable, or whether you like or not, we are always within it. But he says there is a way to remove the sufferings. In order to remove the sufferings, many ways he just told us. So these ways are the reasonable and big ground of the logic. That's why we have many things. So some people, like interest into meditation and reason and other things. Today's many happened the suicide or these kind of things happen because lack of education of understanding of human life. So soon we were going to talk about this precious of human life. If really we recognize our life is as a precious. How precious is it? We know the reasons. Then after we know this, then we have a rise in automatically unshakable faith. So this faith is wisdom. So all these kind of things to share them and lead to the direction. So I think on the other hand, even though they can't, maybe it's lack of their merits, so just we say prayer for them, and even this Mahayana, especially the greater perfection, the Dzogchen teaching says, even those who hear in the words of the greater perfections, that alone can make them see the seeds of them, root of the samsara. So after life, they were reborn as human, as they get opportunity to practice in Dharma, and so this also can give them that impossible to wear this life. We can pray or we can reciting the mantra or something like that. This is also can benefit others.
那么呢，就是说，人是有一个朋友，他说他不相信说磕头啊、顶礼啊，然后金行道场这通通没有用，是迷信的。他说我也不相信神。人家讲是啊，佛不是神啊，佛比如说他创造了宇宙大地啊，佛只是一个觉悟开悟的人啊，然后佛没有创造真理，那佛只是发现真理。如果你有一天你发现了真理，你一样也可以成佛。他跟那个人这样讲，然后那个人就还有道理了，因为佛陀只是这个世间的实相的发现者，真理的发现者，他不是真理的创造者、发明者，他只是发现探索了真理而已，实证到如实的实相。那如果你如实的证到万法的实相，你也可以成佛。这个是对一些来说是很好的一种很有激励的一种作用的这种说法。那同时说，现在的这个西方人呢，特别是现在的年轻人、老年人也好，在西方很多人都喜欢学佛，因为他们喜欢打坐。为什么呢？西方的生活很紧张，物质条件很发达，可是呢，精神生活很紧张，然后他们很多患上忧郁症、患上焦虑症，自杀率也很高。所以为了要降低他们心理上的压力，他们不喜欢宗教的东西，拜这个上教堂不喜欢，他们喜欢打坐。那你就跟他们推广正念禅啊、禅修、佛法的禅修法门非常的好。所以他们喜欢佛法的见地，然后佛法见地是非常符合科学的。所以爱因斯坦就是即便是这些读科学家，爱因斯坦说过一句话：如果未来有一个宗教符合现代科学的要求的话，那个宗教一定是佛教。爱因斯坦讲的。所以很多科学家的发现，脑神经科学啦、心理学的发现，跟佛法的禅修的发现的东西是不谋而合的。你做脑神经的实验。心理学家跟科学家对话，我们可以因此看到，所以他们喜欢是佛法的见地，它的 view 的很符合逻辑、很科学、很 很有哲学的。比如说佛法，佛陀所发现的四圣谛，苦集灭道。佛说苦，那苦是可以灭的，苦是可以被熄灭的，然后有熄灭痛苦之道。所以佛陀为你的问题找到了一个终究的解决方法。你的问题、你的烦恼可以熄灭的，你的痛苦是可以被消除的。那痛苦的消除之道是佛陀教给我们。所以因为现在很多人都忧郁症啊、焦虑症啊，比如说很多人自杀，所以在西方就喜欢这个，因为佛法为他们生命带来一些光明的希望，所以他们就很喜欢在这边。那等下我们要讲的暇满难得的人生，然后当我们佛法让我们了解人生是很难得的、珍贵的时候，我们就不会去自杀，我们就不会去有焦虑症的这种忧郁症的。所以这种东西，所以我们就对佛法，因为单单是暇满难得人生这个道理，我们就对佛法升起的信心。那这种信心就会带来一些希望跟光明。那这种希望光明就是一种智慧，人生的智慧，生命的智慧。所以这样的话呢，就是我们要知道那个人怎么样讲，不喜欢什么，喜欢什么，就针对他的个性来做一些调整，把他的生命导向一些正确的方向、学佛的方向。那即便是他这一次不选择佛教，喜欢其他的宗教也好，我们去祝福他，我们就念经回向给他。可能在这一次的福报不够等等问题。可是我们要知道，大圆满里面有一句话说，单单只要听到说欠大圆满这个字的人，他的意识田中种下了这个菩提的种子，他下一次就不会堕到下三道，所以有一天也可以在最短的时间里面呢就寄生成就，就是大圆满所讲的这一句话。所以这样说的话呢，我们就可以就调和一下我们的心态，那还是有希望的。
我的问题是说，
我的问题是根据刚才那个仁波切的一个回答，我一个延伸的问题就是说，尤其是上传佛教嘛，就是有很多的仪轨，然后很多的那个什么护法神啊，什么咒语啊什么的要念，然后要做很多这样的一个仪式什么的。但是的确像刚才仁波切说的，就有些众生他们就很喜欢禅修，对吧？那其实这个也是我个人问题，因为我就是那种倾向，就特别喜欢禅修那种，不喜欢就是做那种什么要就是很多啊什么又什么节的时候又什么功德成千万倍，就必须要念什么什么，就尤其是修那个潜行啊，真的是感觉特别累的，比起做那些禅修对吧？那我想请问一下，如果是这样，就是时常多去做禅修，然后不太去做这些仪轨，会不会说会是给我们，就是因为有时候会有犯罪感啊，就是说好像没有做，好像什么没有去做到，然后感觉就是说好像会不会得不到加持啊，会有什么障碍啊什么的，所以这种我觉得已经形成了一种心理上一种障碍了，就觉得说这好像是不是好像做不好这样子，就是说，所以想问一下，如果是这样子的话，然后
这样子 OK 吗？是不是？这样子你要问这样子 OK。
对，然后我有时又在想说，我们喜欢禅修，是不是因为我们很懒惰，就是不用念，对吧？就是喜欢坐在那边，所以我就是不太确定，所以想问一下，就是仁波切怎么看这个问题
She says she likes meditation, she likes philosophy, but she doesn't like a ritual, mantra, mudra, and all this puja, and all this like Guru Rinpoche Day, you have to do this mantra, and she doesn't like that kind of thing. It doesn't mean that she's lazy, because she likes to meditate and not doing wonjo. Wonjo takes a lot of time, ritualistic stuff she doesn't like. So can she go along the way? She likes to meditate and just keep meditating, but she also feels guilty if she doesn't engage in ritual practice or sadhana, then she may not get a blessing. She feels guilty about that. Is she on the right, or she has to adjust a little bit? What should she do?
Yeah, if you like to practice, if you meditation, if you like meditation or practicing, that's great. The essential of the teaching is meditation. So every we recite a mantra, we just doing all these things. There is a conventional truth and an ultimate truth. There's two truths. Conventional truth, we're doing something by physically, actually, in order to accumulate merits. So this ultimate truth, reality, you contemplate reflection, as I mentioned before. You just listen the teaching and then you mean practice in meditation. Meditation is the main purpose of our Dharma teachings. So if you throw the meditations doing well, it's not necessary you do everything together, and there is no any missing. The main important is meditation. About what meditation? The Buddha's words. So that the first, as I mentioned before, the listen and contemplate or reflect on meaning, and then put the meditation. So if you interested to meditation, that's great. That is essential of the Dharma teachings. So most of the people don't like to meditate. They says 1 minute is very long, 2 minutes is very long. They like to recite in mantra rather than meditation. So meditation is the main important and the main purpose of the practice in Dharma. So the great Milarepa, those great yogis, you see their stories, and the Milarepa, of course, he did, but main focus is to meditate what his teacher told him, and he's sitting in the cave. He doesn't have any this drum or everything. He doesn't have, but he achieved enlightenment. So everything's the purpose, whatever we're doing, chanting means chanting also meditation. Some people meditate through the chanting. Some people's meditation through the music. Many different people's different interest in objects. So if you can meditate, that's great.
Follow up my question is that how do we know that I'm doing really a proper meditation or just being lazy and sitting there?
Yeah. That's if you just only meditation without listening, that's maybe lazy. But if you listen Dharma's teaching and then you listen and put the practice, so meditate, then it's no way too lazy. If you don't like to be meditation, if you don't like to anything, that means lazy. So if you are interested to one way or then that is the way of you doing the right way. So meditation is the right way. So the Buddha's everything's, even we chanting of the Vajrasattva 100 syllables. If really we have to meditate each syllables, visualize. There's two categories of meditation: contemplation meditation, visualization meditation. So everything's just understanding of natural mind. So you receive in the Dharma teachings, Madhyamaka or whatever, sometimes, practicing the way of two Bodhisattva, or today we're going to the hard advice from Jigme Phuntsok. So just reflect your mind and look your mind, check your mind, realize all these kind of things. The diligence, it's not opposite. It is opposite of lazy.
那么呢，就是说，一般的佛法也分为两种，一种是世俗谛，然后一个是圣义谛。那所谓的世俗谛，我们做一大堆的仪轨啊、法会啊，这样那样啊，敲锣打鼓的，这个是用身体去做的，那个是世俗的成分，表面的相对的成分。但是世俗谛的存在，是为了让我们疗愈圣义谛，圣义谛就是禅修。那最终佛法的目的还是要打坐，释迦牟尼佛也是打坐成佛的，然后。也就是说，你现在所做的不是所谓的偏离正道，那恰恰好反而是佛法的圣义谛，正好就是要禅修的。然后，那我们知道说，弥勒日巴尊者没有人听过他在山洞里面摇铃打鼓的，他是什么都没有的，他坐在山洞里面就是打坐的。他听他上师的教导，然后就把所听到的法义去思维，然后去打坐，然后明心见性，就即身成就了啊。所以弥勒法是很好的一个例子。可是有些人禅修，可是我们要了解说禅修有很多种方法。有些人在念诵的时候，他入定，他听他自己的声音在念诵，那个念诵来说对他来说只是一种禅修。有些人是听音乐，他就听音乐了，听音乐慢慢听了，就是也变成一种禅修。所以禅修可以和各种各样的所依物禅修的对象结合，那个就是禅修了。 所以不一定只是打坐而已。那这一个，那自己你问说，那算不算是懒惰或者懈怠或最新的？那比如说，只要你精进于佛法的人实修，你先听闻佛法，然后思维佛法，然后把所听闻思维的话加以打坐，加以去禅修的话，帮助你了悟自己本性的话，那个就是方向就对了。那比如说你喜欢分中观，那你听了中观的教导，然后你入菩萨行的教导等等这些，然后你把这个东西的教义去吸收、思维、学习，然后慢慢的打坐去思维它的教理、它的要义，然后借此来了悟你的自己本性的话，那你就做对了。比如说，靠那个喜欢靠念诵来作为禅修人，这个金刚萨埵的每一字每一句话100字明码，每100个字都有100种观心的方法，所以那个也本身也是一种禅修。所以这样你这样做的话，你有精进这样的努力的话，精进本身就是懒惰的对治，所以你可能你懒惰不了的，所以没问题。其他的问题。
就是我们知道，就是我们有一种习性，就是我们一直会重复的犯同样的错误。我犯了错误之后呢，就会忏悔，忏悔过后又再犯，所以越来越加重自己的罪恶。就要怎么样去克服？就是还有一个，就是说我也知道，佛法的精髓到最后我们要修智慧跟慈悲心。这是佛法最终究，因为这个是我经常说康普师父的经书。我们最终呢要修智慧。那我们一直重犯这个错误，就是这个，是不是我们智慧很浅，所以一直会重犯？还是这样？是我们就是最终要怎么提升我们的智慧
？OK， 两个问题啊。One is that he always makes the same mistake. Mistake and then he make confession, and he make the same mistake again. And then confession makes a mistake. Repeat all the time. So you feel very guilty about that. Yeah? So what to do about this? How to get rid of guiltiness? He always feel guilty about being trapped. Do something wrong, confess, then make the same mistake again and again and again. Yeah. First question.
If you can face, it doesn't matter. Whatever you. There is one of the Cho Kadamba is one of masters. Their story is one of masters. When he arises in the negative emotions, just he has the white, some white stone and black stones together put here and there. And when he arises in the negative emotions, he just put the black stone here. And then again he arises in again and again. Then every time remind him as something arise in a negative action or something wrongdoings. If you remember again and again, then that means you were doing good because you understand you are doing the bad things or something like that. That's why there is another way, meditation. When there are George Adisha also, one of his master asked him, when we meditate, sitting in the meditation, negative emotions are rising, then what should we do? Again and again arising. Then he says, it doesn't matter. When you arise in negative emotions, just look at it. And 100 times arising, 100 times look it, then sooner or later decrease, and negative actions is the same as you see as Buddha nature. So that's the high level. But anyway, when we do of course we are ordinary person. We are like ordinary beings. We have so many delusions within our mind. So we do again and confess again. That's the best way. And one day you will decrease and you see before and now. Might is lesser than before. So if you can take the continually way, there is a way to decreasing, and one day you will never be mistake.
那卢界的答案就是说，有一个卡拉派的大师，他的修法是这样的，他有两种石头。当他起这个不好念头的时候，他就把黑的石头放在那里。他一开始他黑的石头是一大堆嘛，很多，好像山那么多。然后白的石头没有，慢慢有一天到最后的时候，那他的黑的石头慢慢就减少，慢慢就不见了，白的石头越来越多。 因为他起了好的念头、好的想法跟行为就越来越多。所以我们的意思就是说呢，不怕烦恼，不管你犯的过错再多几次，你犯错几次你就忏悔几次，100次来就是100次忏悔，没有至少你懂得忏悔，你就知道你自己做的是不对的这个事情。那有一个学生问一个大师说，他说大师啊，我的烦恼一直在升起，我打坐什么烦恼越来越多，妄想越来越多。那大师就说我应该怎么办呢？那个大师告诉这个弟子说，你100次烦恼升起来，你100次你要做一件事情，只是看着它就可以了，观那个烦恼。当你懂得观到烦恼的时候，烦恼就是菩提，你的罪业就是佛性。当然这个很高的境界了。不过如果你懂得看的话，每一次你起烦恼，你起做造业的你慢慢看，它的本性其实就是菩提。慢慢你静观其变的话，你的烦恼慢慢就变成佛性。然后到最后的时候，你烦恼越来越少，到最后一定是消失不见的。
问题是我们观看人的当中，有时候就是那个欲望太过强大，就是负面的力量太过强大，所以我们又在造业，就是轮回的问题。
Wash and then karma come again, then start making mistake again. You wash the karma, wash the defilements, but again you make a mistake. Repeat again.
Then should be little bit punished. Then it doesn't matter if you understand the again and again within this life. Does mean in your might it be in your previous life something strongly negative actions or doing something like that. In this life they ripened as negative emotions. So then confuse again and then as much as you can. So we every day do prayer for like Vajrasattva, or every times we can face what we have done or negative actions, and every times we promise or regret what we have done. All these things, not only this life but also in our previous life we have done so many mistakes and negative actions as well. So every time if we can remember and if we regret and confuse, that's the method. So this might if you do it again and again, then they will be stopped safe. Even though arising again and again, do not discourage yourself and do more and encourage yourself rather than dishearten.
所以尽管你还是一直落入那个圈子里面，不断的犯过失又忏悔又犯错，所以就是说你不要觉得沮丧或者失望，你要为自己加油打气，就是说，你要长久抗战吧，就是犯错了再忏悔，忏悔又犯错，犯错又再忏悔，一直到长期抗战，然后也可以用一些忏悔进罪的法门，比如说念经啊、杀佛百字明啊这些东西，因为我们无始以来所造作的业不知道累积了多少，你应该感到高兴，说你那个业在你现世的身上现在所成熟，让你看到你的习气是这个样子的，你犯错的倾向是这个样子，你应该感到高兴，然后你把它怎么说发露出来的话，那就慢慢会消失，因为无常的缘故，它迟早会消失，不可能永远保持这种样子的，所以你不要退心或者感到太过的这个失望。
对，还有这个问题忘记问，对的。
我们怎样修智慧？
对，how to increase our wisdom? The essence of Dharma is wisdom and compassion. How to enhance our wisdom?
Yeah. So in order to increase in our wisdom is again say meditation. So when we recite Manjushri's mantra and the seeking a blessing of circumstances, so the Rinpoche says, when you realize your nature of mind, there is no way to forgotten anything. That means compassion and wisdom automatically arising through the meditations, contemplating. So every time and every day, the first tomorrow we're going to the shamatha meditations. The shamatha meditations every day. Just beginning of we are doing meditation. Just take our time, and maybe it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes like that. The many time and short time. It's very important. So when we understand our natural mind, then wisdom and compassion are rising there. So it's very different before. So those many great masters like Rinpoche himself, as he master from his realization of natural mind, and like Jigme Phuntsok, when they sit in meditation and then after they realize their mind, then they spontaneously the wisdoms come and compassions are rising. These kind of things are defined or practicing. On the other hand, you just recite the mantras, Manjushri's mantras as well. Visualize on yourself as a Manjushri and receiving the blessing. Or sometimes there is a contemplation meditation and visualization meditation. If you like to visualization meditation, just morning when you get up, just visualize the Manjushri in front of you and just you say some mantra. And meanwhile, the light is coming from the Manjushri's heart and dissolve your heart and giving the all light to the other sentient beings. Those who are foolish or lack of wisdoms, they receiving the wisdom, and then Manjushri dissolve yourself, your person become like a Manjushri. All this practice in meditation is very great for the arising wisdom.
那升起智慧的方法有2种，一个就是禅修或者说是禅定，第二可以修持文殊师利菩萨的法门，因为文殊菩萨是智慧之佛，他绝对可以增长你的智慧。然后关于这个禅修法门禅定，明白人们说，如果你禅修，你了悟到你的自性本性的话，很自然的慈悲和智慧就会在你的自性本性中缓缓升起，就具足慈悲，悲智双运就会发生。那明天我们会做这什么止观中的止禅的修持。那一开始的时候你会修做3分钟5分钟，觉得妄念很多负面的情绪或者说是烦恼。可是慢慢做久了之后呢，你要把握一个要诀，就是禅修刚开始的时候要做很多次，每一次不要做太长时间，时间简短精要，可是要重复的次数要多，频率要多，时间要短，这样的话最能够用上力这是一个要诀。然后尼泊人不戒像尼泊人不戒这样的大师，这样这个天津路不做法无一宝，他们就是了悟自性本性的禅修大师。当你了悟自性本性的时候，慈悲跟智慧自然就同样不求之的完全具足。所以呢，这是第一个方法，禅定或者禅修。第二个方法，修持文殊师利菩萨的观修法，这个文殊的本尊观。你可以自称本尊，观想自己是文殊师利菩萨，第一个方法。第二个方法，对称本尊，这个文殊师利菩萨在你前面的虚空中，让他放光加持你。那放光加持你，从你得到了加持之后，你可以把加持力送给其他的众生，以文殊菩萨的智慧之光加持他们，帮助他们离苦得乐，解脱轮回，趋近成佛。然后到最后的时候，文殊师利菩萨跟他加持力化为光，融入自身，然后在那时候就安住于这样的不二的境界当中。这样的话，你的智慧就会得到增长。所以2种方法，一个是禅定，一个是本尊观。
像我现在目前主要都是念普玛尼经，主要的功课。现在这算一个成就还是一个精进的方法？主要你念我的功课主要是念普玛尼经的。我现在在做。
有观想吗？没有观想。
我会有观想。
Now his main matter is Om Mani Padme Hum. And is it okay?
Yes.
Is it meditation?
Yes, of course. So I'd like to say these things. Usually we say it's a personal Buddha or something like that. If you are more confident with the Avalokiteshvara or the Chandrizul or Guanyin Pusa, that's very good. So when you practice in Manjushri, you think that your personal Buddha is like Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is transformed to the Manjushri and given the blessing of the wisdoms. So every Buddhas are, I don't like to use in the deity. Deity is something like words of God, something like that, the better to Buddhas. So Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, reality there is the same as natural mind. So before very important to understand that every Buddha is the same. So Jigme Phuntsok also he just mentioned that when you reciting the whatever you are doing, for example, he doing Avalokiteshvara. So Mani Padme only. Today you are chanting the Mani Padme, and you are yesterday also. And certainly there are circumstances they ask you do something like Vajrasattva or Manjushri. Then you just continually to recite the Mani Padme together the words of the Om Arapasanati. Because as I mentioned before, we are just saying, but the Buddha said every Buddha as the same. It's the same as accumulate your reciting Manjushri's mantra and Vajrasattva's mantra mixed together. It's a fine. So if you wanted to pray for 100,000 Manjushri's mantra or Avalokiteshvara mantra, then you need to something like need to recite in the Manjushri just together kind. The main you have to trust or you believe the Manjushri is the Avalokiteshvara, because Manjushri is wisdom appear as a Buddha, and Avalokiteshvara is compassion appear as Buddha. So there's emanation is the same. The most important understand every Buddhas as the same. So if you have these motivations, then whatever you're doing, there's no any complicated, there's no any confused. The Buddha is same. First we have to just generate our mind. Every Buddha is the same, because this is not saying something like a teacher or some persons. These are mentioned in the Tantra or the sutras mentioned every Buddha as the same. There is a compassion or tolerance or everywhere the good qualities appear as a deity, appear as a Buddhas. So the automatically, automatically they are the same. That's why this motivation should be taken during the daytime, and you can do Avalokiteshvara continually. He also can give in the blessing of the wisdom, of course. So if you like Avalokiteshvara, just try to transform to the Manjushri at that moment. It's actually the Buddha is Avalokiteshvara, but at moment he appearing as a Manjushri. You see as a Manjushri. If you like Manjushri, you think that the appear as a Manjushri. Actually, the Buddha is a Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara. So when we do in the Guru Yoga, or sometimes we pray Guru as a personal, or he is Manjushri in personal. Sometimes Guru is transformed to the Manjushri, and we pray to the Manjushri. All the method are the same. So which convenient for you, which is suitable for you, that's what depend your mind. There is no any different object of the blessing.
那么呢，这个其实要了解一个道理，就是所谓的一切的本尊。那Rinpoche说很喜欢用天意这个字。那本尊这个一档，一切的本尊，一切的诸佛菩萨，都是本性上都是一样的。佛道统，没有一尊佛是特别强或者差过另外其他尊佛，所以每一尊佛都是一样的。所以Rinpoche建议一个方法，当你念Om Mani Padme Hum，你观世音菩萨的时候。那你观想观世音菩萨在前面，可是你需要得到智慧的加持的时候，你可以叫你可以观想的观世音菩萨暂时变成在那个刹那间变成文殊师利菩萨，然后给你智慧的加持。因为其实只是观世音菩萨、文殊菩萨是完全一样的，只是我们认为不一样的。那即便不做法王如意宝也曾经做过，有时候他叫他们念Om Mani Padme Hum，比如说念这个金刚上合咒语，比如说念Om Arapasanati，那其实都是一样的，在念的时候你不要起分别，那是一样的。念的时候起分别，那就我们的凡夫心在起分别。念10万遍那你也可以，比如说念Om Mani Padme，有时念Om Arapasanati，你可以一起合修。你要念10万遍的话，两个混合在一起就没有问题了。 那就是你要有一个不二，悲智双运嘛，悲智慈悲跟智慧可以双运，佛道统每个本质都是一样的，所以可以没有矛盾，完全没有矛盾的这个空间，所以我们不必把它们两个分开，所以不二要了解不二的道理就是这样的。所以所有的密续，所有的经典里面告诉我们说，每一个本尊，每一尊佛都是佛道统，本质上是无二无别的，这个我们要掌握。所以呢，这个人就是在强调说，要智慧驾驶，说把观世音菩萨像改变成文殊师利，给你智慧的光明的这个驾驶就可以了。对象那形貌状相是不一样，它的本质，它们的加持力完全是等同无二无别的。
我是说现在21世纪人类的进步太快很多东西都学习得很容易比如说那个手机很强很多东西都可以在里面学习到比如说我当然说佛教这方面在手机里面我们可以见到很多个道高僧很多那个讲佛的佛法这些东西有藏传的有南传的有汉传的有北传的我们这样子在这样的学习规矩是什么都是可以的
对，这是问题吗？
就是这样还有一个问题说比如说南传跟藏传汉传他们有的日常生活里面他们有一点不一样的，有的是可以指数他们可以指数最后我们一起这样在搞不会有什么问题
讲稿你是讲稿是吧？
比如说我们现在在很多东西可以学到刚从的美色。
第二个问题说讲稿不是没有问题你说第二个问题说吃素不吃素讲。
然后第一个问题是这样说，比如说四种好像这个佛教里面有藏传，
对，
南传有北传，有汉传
是北传就是汉传，
有一个好像南传它就自分的
OK
所以我们四种一起在学习那些好像自己在打转一样到底是可以自分还是不自分，还是要整个自什么这个自己在内心里面打转都可以的，都可以，没有什么问题
你的问题是说OK 你的问题是总之有没有问题？你的问题是这样
有问题
OK 你的问题是不是有问题啦
Internet we can internet and handphone we can learn about Theravada, Mahayana and Vajrayana. So we can learn all the forms of Buddhism. Is it okay we learn like that? Mahayana we learn, Vajrayana also learn, Theravada also learn. At the end then vegetarian. The Theravada Lama eat meat. Mahayana vegetarian. Lamas sometimes vegetarian, sometimes not vegetarian. So is it they're confused, easily confused. So how to solve this issue? Yeah.
Yeah, we can learn everything. Even we can learn something like others out of the religion Buddhism. The Buddha says we should be learned there's many within the philosophy text. There are many of Mastakpa out of the Buddhist. They're like Christian and another Hindu. There are many philosophies we learn men together. But finally, we just if we really learned something from the teachings, then after we understand the meanings of all these, like some are vegetarian, some are non-vegetarian. These are their customs, might be theirs traditional, or these are just not the main of the Buddha's teaching. The main of the Buddha's teaching is just contemplation of meditation, or what is he says, the non-violence, interdependent originations, Four Noble Truths, all these categories of talking by every lineages, every Theravadan, or no matter Chinese or Tibetan, or every Buddha's followers, they talk about Four Noble Truths, they talk about originations. independent, travel links, these kind of things, main Buddha's teachings. On the other hand, the tradition doesn't matter. We don't care then. If you follow the Tibetan Buddhism, you just practicing the words of the Buddha's teaching. You do not say giving the kata or things of Tibetan cultures. You don't need to follow them. This is not necessary. These are just custom. The custom and the practicing really need to differentiate by our mind. So finally you can get something, the advice, what usually you do in meditation. Then there's many methods or there are many different PD instructions may you get. So these things. And another thing is when you listen the online, not listen the teachings from the record, that not receiving the oral transmissions. If you want to receive in the oral transmission, something like that, they should be continued online or maybe on disconnection between you and that guru. So others you can learn, but these are the culture. Or some Theravadins are the followers of Vinaya. Most they emphasize on the Vinaya. The Buddha first told the Vinaya that whatever the monks can get, that times it's dependent in some environment. Difficult to get in the food easily. You cannot choose that is I want, that is I don't want. So the Buddha, he allowed to take in the meat, because he says every person, whatever your offerings, you should be accept them. Once a story, there's a Buddha, the Ananda, or I can't remember exactly, but one time when they go to the serve the arm, and when the devotion, when he serving the monks food, he dropped his finger on the food. Just he eat because there is no what to say. He eat because the Buddha said you should accept what their offerings are. So their most Theravada traditions follow the Vinaya ways. Still they emphasize on the Vinaya ways. This not disturbing our mind to practice, just a way of doing the practicing. Some of China or most Tibetan, today they are become more and more vegetarians. So today is we have environmentally convenient. We have so many foods rather than meat. So we can be like that. Meat is, of course, there is no any reasons to come without killing or something lost behind the animal's life. So these are today is just fixing or changing now. So what main point is we should be differentiate culture and really teachings. So do not mix together.
然后Rinpoche 对你的回答是这样的，他说，不只是说我们佛教里面的南传、藏传、大传、汉传、北传，我们都要学，来自于佛陀鼓励我们去学其他的外道的学问，印度教啊、其他宗教啊、基督教的哲理啊，学问都可以学。可是学习的主要的后来的目标和方向还是佛法本身。那其他点尽量有时间有精力都可以去多学。可是我们这边，我们说学的话，外道的思想也可以学，但是还是主要佛法的思想为正道。那可是佛法的核心是什么呢？佛法的核心就是缘起啊、非暴力啊、四圣谛啊、苦集灭道这些核心部分。那是你所讲的南传做将吃素不吃素，那个是文化的部分、传统的部分、文化习俗的部分，那从来不是佛法的核心。佛法的核心是刚才所讲的缘起、非暴力、四圣谛等等这些。所以我们学藏传佛教，我们不要变成西藏人。那给他打给那些可免则免，因为我们不是西藏人，我们是华人，所以这个要分别，文化跟佛法要分清楚。如果你学藏传佛教学变成西藏人的话，你学到的是文化，不是佛法。所以这个要分清楚，要的是佛法的核心，不是它的表象。那些吃素不吃素啊，什么跑不一样的南传、藏传、北传，那只是外向。那从来不是核心和它的内容，所以这一点要分得非常的清楚。那南传加拉巴拉上座部的这个僧人，他们注重戒律，比那样，他们弃食的时候，为什么南传可以吃肉呢？因为有时候他们要透过嘛， 北传不用透过，藏传不用透过，南传必须要透过去这些地方。那如果他们不吃素的，如果不吃肉的话，那有人供养他，没有人供养他素食的话，他不是饿死吗？所以他必须要什么都，他的南传戒律上，人家供养什么，你一定要吃什么，你不可以选吃的。你比如说这个我不要，这个我要，不可以。所以他们必须要吃肉。来自于一个故事，那阿难陀去世的时候，有人把他的手指切断，放在那个钵里面，他也必须把那个手指吃掉。所以他们戒律是这样的，所以要懂得他的文化背景是不一样的。那中国汉僧就是汉传的华人的僧侣，那藏僧就是藏人的也可以，现在都流行吃素了，因为方便嘛，环保嘛，然后不愿意牺牲动物的生命来换取自己口腹之欲，所以这个都是方便的。所以文化跟佛法的核心表象的内容要分清楚，这样就不会有矛盾了。好，还有问题吗？好。去世了，就是突然间去世了。然后后来我就知道菩提心嘛。那我就跑进去跟那个师父说，师父那口卡死了。就告诉一下。那师父就马上告我，死不是死了，每个人都会死的。那我这个事情就卡了我很久。然后我就出来，我就拿着念珠就给他加持。就念观音心咒啊，但是我就卡了我，特别的辛苦。怎么办？怎么办？卡住是说你听了这样很失望是吧？他会点马上就死不是死了，然后他自己走去了，他本来那个狗也才死的刚刚死，我看就是他死掉了。因为你卡住是你的感觉卡，什么感觉？出家人会这样，这样无情啊！我又不敢多想嘛，因为知道，因为有文思嘛，怕自己的分别念又造了一些恶的嘛，所以就不敢做一个决定。所以说，那你能等到有一位上师，你就问一下，该怎么？但是觉得自己就好像有痛苦嘛，好像失去了什么一样，好像说，哎呀，佛法到底是，就总是好像失去了。你感觉要在空中吗？我在空中。你感觉是失望还是很生气还是什么？没有。这为什么会这样？没有一个。为什么他会讲这样的话？对。每个人就会死的嘛，他说死就死了。所以你觉得你觉得很生气还是几岁咯？也没有生气，就整个人就卡住，然后不敢多想分辨啊，或者也不会怕造业啊。怕造业啊，因为有文思啊，我们就很谨慎啊，还是不要想啊。我把这个问题带。可是心里面是不爽啊。心里面就那不是不爽，好像很悲伤。悲伤啊！我就是要那个东西。非常的悲伤。
He said that one Theravada monk in the temple, dog died. She go inform the Theravada monk, say dog died. Then the Theravada monk say, die lah, everybody die, every community. So she feel very sad. Why a monk talk to her like that? So then she did not think that, okay, if we criticize a monk, say bad thing about monk, creating bad karma. So she did not think about anything. But inside she feel very sad. Why a Theravada monk told me, just let the dog like that, you don't need to care about the dog. So she dog died already in the temple. The monk doesn't care, but she cares. She want to bless the dog, want to recite money for the dog. The monk doesn't care. The monk said, die, let it die. So she feel very sad actually inside. Why Theravada monk say like that?
This, I think, individuals are different, personality different. So some people really have emotionally arising compassion immediately, something like that. Some people don't much care about that. That not means these are we can't judge the person to the culture or religious as well. So these are the different people, or maybe the person he already know the impermanent. Everything's reality is he said like everything's impermanent. But meanwhile we should be prayer or something like that. But sometimes inner mindly he maybe. We don't know he pray already or whatever he doing. So through these his actions, we cannot judge everything's behind.
这个不能够一概而论呐，因为可能第一个可能就是说，第一种可能是这个人烦恼一起他就没有了慈悲心，这是第一种可能啊。第二种可能你不知道他可能已经念了一些咒语啊，念这种表象上看来是不在乎了，然后死了就死了。然后第三种可能，即便是说。无常嘛，每个众生都会死，可是你死了还是应该为那个死去的众生念一些经啊，做这样，这个是应该的，所以你没有错。那另外一方面来说，我们不能一概而论，就是说苹果就有烂苹果嘛，它可能就是其中一个比较不那么好的苹果，所以你不用去在那么多，因为它不代表所有的南传僧人都是这样的，它不能够代表。
最关键的一个这个事情，你看会突然间发生在你身上，刚好能带我去一个小试验，这样是跟我的因果有何关系？
因果
就是在我的，一定是给我看到是跟业因果有何啊，这个是我比较注重的，所以我卡在空中。
What's that to do with karma? Is that something to do with karma? She happened to meet this monk in the temple and the dog died. Anything to do with karma? Because what's the connection between this and the karma?
Yeah. When we talk about Buddhism karma connection or karma link, we don't say everything is just everything is defined karma. Some karmas we change by directions. Some karmas we cannot change. But might be it's some karmas circumstances together. Dog dies there, monks there, monk was there, you was there. All these conditions are preparation by karma. It is possible. But meanwhile, you arise in some like compassion towards the dog or something like that. That is also good. So I don't know exactly the karma.
这个业力是不可思议的，很难去断定是不是业，而且不是每个东西都是业造成的。因缘决定了你在某那个时间、那个时空点遇上这个和尚这个法师，然后狗死掉了，你会觉得很伤心之类的东西。所以不一定有这特别的因素，那这边是有着业力的关系，也可以改变，也可以发生起慈悲心、菩提心，为了念诵做回向，那就算了，不要放在心上太久啊。
就像我们当人事情，我在组什么活动或者什么，可以把所学的东西真的可以思和修真的做出来，因为很多我们常常听了后有一个 gap 一个思，然后一个修，还是停留在好像是在很 theory 的，是否有一些活动会让我们可以transform 从文思修这样。
第一个活动3个都有了。
Is there any activity that we can have listening, contemplating, and practicing meditation together? Because a lot of Dharma talk we just listen and never teach us to contemplate, never meditate. So how can we integrate these three into one activity, one Dharma activity or one Dharma session?
These three categories or attention to the same time is fine. When you hear and say something like how to compassion towards other sentient beings, that time just you hearing the words of compassion words, and that make you feel, and then arise your compassion causing of the teachings, and then you arise in the compassion as he or she told, and then immediately you arise in something like that. That moment, three things happen at the same time. It is possible. But roughly we say first we should listen and listen carefully what we say and things. Sometimes it is possible. Actors teach the dancing or something like that. sometimes they teach as a class how to dance, how to move, or how to act, something like that. But sometimes they physically just they say rise in the left hand, they meanwhile rise in the left hand, they can together the activities. So it's the same. Contemplate or meditation is there is a chance to practice together, and then we usually the separate because there is some circumstances.
这个闻思修的部分，一般上我们有顺序的讲，先闻后思，然后最后怎么去修，对，一般是这样讲，还有因果的次序的，一个一个慢慢来，一个一个来的。但是有时候，比如说你听到某个上师讲慈悲心的时候，他讲慈悲的时候，你在闻了，有点在听了，然后他叫你当下去思维慈悲心的经历，你也在思了，然后等下你升起菩提心的时候，你一起在共修这个慈悲心。所以闻思修可以当下一个教法、一个活动里面同时具足的，看个别情况而已。所以这样你的看法是有可能的，是有可能。只是有时候我们，比如说你像我们现在做一个演员班啊，叫你怎样做演员或者舞蹈班，这个老师会一边讲一边做，叫你一边做然后一边讲，然后你吸收的同时去思考怎样做，然后他示范的动作给他，你跟他一起做，这个都是可以的。一边讲一边做，同时具足闻思修，这是非常可能的，有些已经在做了。
So, yeah.
当我们在学习佛法过程，我们知道善恶嘛，起心动念。当我们恶念的时候，一念有情恶，或者动作上有恶的时候，我们知道是无忏悔。佛法会做一个补补啊，或者是修一做。当我们做了上法的时候，是否也可以除了回向？那还有什么可以？因为我们有学到之前是有一个实修，就是赞叹的，赞叹学习的。这样如何把这个上法能够修持加续在我们生命上是种更加的稳固？然后我是这么想，为什么我问这个问题？就是说比如说，我们也听到有些可能学了一些会退心啊。师父是如果有了行使上法，或者如今天来听佛法，这样我们如果也有一些诀窍啊，就是这个方法也是一做会增强我们的一个上，就好像跟父刚才讲就法也合适了，会有很大的帮助。
Normally we do bad things, we confess and we regret and we purify. Like there's a ritual we do Vajrasattva or what to purify, right? So, but if we do good things, we recite rejoicing and dedication, is there any secret practice that we can make our good karma become multiply or enhance so that we will not lose our faith on Dharma? We can increase our faith and devotion towards Dharma and continue to walk the path of Dharma.
So the best way is when you recite in mantra, that moment just your non-conceptions, you meditate on non-conceptual reality or meditation together. And if you just like recite an Om Mani Padme Hum one time, and you visualize Avalokiteshvara, and that time recite an Om Mani Padme one time, there is very different. When you didn't visualize, don't meditate on the actions, just normal. Maybe sometimes we recite a mantra neutrally. People wonder the mind of others and doing something meanwhile they're doing. So this we cannot say there is no merit. There is something neutral, but the best thing is you focus your reciting mantra. And meanwhile, you visualize whatever your Jinggang Sadhu. When you do in the Vajrasattva, then just meditate on the Vajrasattva, and your mind also there, and then recite mantra. This is a multiple the Vajrasattva, more than like before. So this says one of Tata Matak Janjirian Tanzan Yun Bumjirian. There is one of words in Tibetan, but this is talking from the mantra. If you really contemplate, and if you with the meditations, the multiplied 100,000 multiplied. If you just read it clearly, without mistakenly, the multiplies 100 times. If you with the faith means with wisdom faith, that's a multiply more than like that. There is once time George Padanatisha, when he visited in Tibet, so the Tibetans written the Sanskrit mantra, but they don't know very well the meaning of the Sanskrit, but still they are reciting the mantra. And they're very devoted on the mantra and practicing very well. So Atisha, he got some problem with the throat, he has got swollen inside. And when he hearing the Tibetans chanting the mantra, they say in the mystic, they say the words they say is cut in the heart, something like this. He hear the meaning. Then he thought, oh, they're just the chanting is mystically, really they're mystic. Oh, I'm very painful my head, then cut my head, how can I bear? Then he laughed loudly and then immediately they throw away this swollen and then he healed. And then he says, oh, that means if you really devoted or something like with the mind, that blessing is more than just to read correct words. So this one, this is clearly that with the devotion and if you can meditate on emptiness, that's more than multiply. There's many chances.
所以你的心如果安住在空性当中，那个功德力是最棒的。空性当中。空性是这样的，当下安住空性上。另外一个，一般我们念这个观世音菩萨咒语也好，金刚萨埵咒语也好，那如果有观想的话，那一般的散念就是一般你走路在念的话很散乱的心，所以要有功德的功德大，因为是比较散乱心嘛。可是你一边念一边观修，你的心是全部安放在100%安放在观修的对境上，比如说金刚萨埵观世音菩萨，那功德力是绝对的。有帮大有增长的，一个是空性，一个就是专注力哈。然后下来，那就是这个有个大师就说过，你念诵咒语的，一般念诵咒语的话，随便念的话，功德比如说增长10万倍，你专注的念增长更多，100次，100倍更多，这个10万倍更多。然后你有这个智慧的信心，安住于实相的智慧，你对这个有信心的话，那功德更加的不得了。所以就这一点而言。有一次阿底峡尊者佛法带去西藏的这个印度大师，那他是喉咙痛嘛，喉咙肿痛，有东西卡在咽喉这边不舒服。那他听到一些藏文念咒语，因为把梵文念错，然后他听到那个梵音是把那个梵文意思念成切掉我的心，把我的心割掉。那阿底峡就听了忍不住笑的那个卡住喉咙就出来，所以喉咙痛就好了。所以可见那个咒语呢，不在于准不准确，你有心念，你真的有信心、有虔诚心的话，这个就是最大的功德。另外一个就是你能够知道无实的空相，那个也是法性的功德，也是有这两种。
So I think this time's over. So after these sections, everyone come or?
晚上每一个人都会来吗？
If you don't come, let me know. I will give you the oral transmissions. I want to receive in all the oral transmissions this remote teaching. So if you cannot come after the section, let me know and I'll give you oral transmissions. Just maybe if it's few people, I can give them in my room or something.
如果有人等一下晚上不能来的话呢，等下去康波的房间里面，他会给各位口。 如果少数几个的话，会不会口传一些咒语？对啊，因为我们本来晚上给的，如果晚上如果你不能来的话，等一下我们继续在那里接受口传。有些晚上不能来的继续说。After 8.
Yeah. After it, if come, it's fine.
等一下可以借给我吗？他会给你口传。
Yeah, okay, then we stop here, yeah?
我们今天就到这，今天这下午的结束就到这边。今天晚上几点开始？8点吗？7点到9点。 今天晚上7点钟。
明天早上可以9点开始吗？因为明天是10点是吧？Win our early 9 until 12 is okay. Because they are going all early. 说本来是10点到1点啊，我们9点开始好吧？
那到有 Q&A 了。
OK。
等一下要回乡嘛。回乡啊。
Yeah。
Hello 啊，大家好。明天早上本来我们是10点开始的，所以我们提早1个小时，就是9点开始啊。那么还有刚才卢记讲的这个文思修，说我们这里其实我们有这个卢记是Rinpoche学院的，然后呢，就是安克，就是Phuntsok。然后我们这里有就是我们Rinpoche学院的课程，说不是只是开班。然后我是我们的师姐毛衣，说如果你们有心要文思修，那么。